Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of The Lockdown. It's Zach Danger and number 12.
And welcome back to another episode of The Lockdown.
Woo-woo.
I am your host, Zach Danger, formerly known as Fumi Abe.
And this is Mike Nguyen, but now known as number 12 out of 24.
Today is May 30th, 2020. It's a beautiful day outside, and that's where I want to start this podcast because, yes, we've been quarantined. Yes, we've been following the rules, wearing the masks. But listen, Cuomo, listen, God, summer is right around the corner. And what I want to know is, how is Zach Danger going to have a hot girl summer, if that's even a popular song anymore?
It's not.
With all these restrictions. How is Daddy Zach going to have a hot girl summer? That's where I want to start this.
We are going to have, I heard that we're going to have phase 1 reopening in 2 weeks, in June 8th.
And what is phase 1 again?
Phase 1 is non-essential construction.
Boring!
You know? So, we're getting back out there. We're building a brick wall at the local McDonald's. Yes, we're doing that. I'm doing it. I'm getting on that construction. I already got all the clothes for it because I love construction clothes. So
yeah,
I'm going to get out there. And when you guys are trying to have a hot girl summer, I'm going to have a very hot time with a whole bunch of Russian immigrants building this drywall. It's going to be sick. But yeah, I'm also hoping that it's going to be a nice summer. I doubt it, but we'll see.
That's what's so crazy because like New York, it's so cold, it's so brutal in the winter, but like the summer, it makes it all worth it. Everybody's having a good time, everybody's in a good mood. Also, like, hey, all genders present here. Like, there are beautiful fucking people walking around in New York City. That's part of the appeal of New York City. You're walking around, there's hot people everywhere, and you're like, yeah, I'm not a model, but they're on my street. And now we can't even have that. We can't even look at hot people. And like, I don't know. I just got a bike. I've been biking around and I saw some hot people yesterday and I was like, is that really going to be taken away from me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw yesterday we had Hack City, which was a lot of fun. You guys should check it out. But you had on your tank top. That's one thing I notice about summertime. So I put in my AC today, my AC unit, which is a huge, like, I don't know how big it is, but like, it's got to fill up my living room and my kitchen and like the hallway and everything like that. It's very big. It's huge. And like, it's a huge ordeal to put it in there. It's like precariously placed in the windowsill. Like I'm pretty sure I'm doing it wrong. It seems very secure, but I know there's a right way and I am not doing it the right way. Okay. And I've been doing it the wrong way 5 years running now. But that for me, when I'm sweating my balls off, just putting it in, that's when I know it's summertime because my glasses are sliding off. I'm cutting myself on the stupid radiator, like thingies. That's for me. When I taste the human blood, now it's a summertime. It's a beautiful time, summertime.
That's, you and I have very different.
That's a beautiful, when your ass crack is just like just the wetness of it, and you can't even make it clap because it's more of a sliding sound. That's a summertime, baby.
I see that you're getting your Italian accent ready for your construction job, and I like that. And now, speaking of construction, our guest today.
How are you gonna get out of this? Go ahead.
Boy, has she constructed an amazing community of friends in New York City, in Brooklyn. Yes, you could say that she's an architect of friendship. Ooh, you like where I'm going with that?
I don't, but yeah, go ahead.
She's an architect of love. Some people call her Dr. Love. They don't, but I'm going to today. And listen, did I pick a hard premise to introduce the guest? Yes, I did. Did I fall and slip? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. But listen, she's the architect of friendship, and I love friendship. So we're super excited to talk to her today about there's a lot of stuff happening in the world today, and I'm excited to talk to her all about it. And you know her, you love her. Let's give it up for, I think this is the third time she's returned to this podcast. So, yo, third-time champion, Kenice, Mobley, Dr. Love.
Yo, what up? I really hope Dr. Love does not stick as a nickname. I don't think that it is appropriate.
Yeah.
I did not go to love school for 7 years. Yeah,
but that's.
I don't think I'm qualified.
You love talking about love and sex. That's your.
Why
that's
do you
your.
say it like that?
That's your. Look, like, I'm trying to have a fun summer. Okay, let me be fun. But also, your podcast is all about love and constructing healthy relationships.
Why do you say love that way?
Listen, you like it?
No.
All right, the fans don't like it either. Let's move on.
How's your summer going, or your start of summer? I don't know if we're officially in summer yet. How is it going, Kenice, for you?
Yeah, how are you gonna have? Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well. I will say the first 6 weeks of quarantine, I was crushing it. Okay.
Yeah?
I was exercising every day. I was drinking so much water. So way more water than normal. Just a lot of water
Yeah, man.
drinking.
Osmosis, baby.
Yeah, I was studying French every day.
Whoa.
I was writing a screenplay. I was doing everything,
Yeah.
you know? But in the last 2 weeks, I have started this new campaign of sleeping a lot, and it does not feel as good. So today I'm trying to get out of that, and it did not work because I forgot that I was supposed to be here at this time, and I made this whole thing late. I'm very sorry.
No, you're
Okay.
not. It's fine.
Yeah.
We wanted to get into it. We can kind of get into some stuff here, but first we wanted to talk about. You watch Insecure? You're a big Insecure fan?
I do watch Insecure.
You're all
yes.
caught up. You watched every episode so far?
I didn't watch yesterday's. Wait, what's today?
No, today's Saturday.
Today's Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I did watch last week's episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The
so we
Mexico
wanna-
one.
The Mexico trip.
Yes, the Mexico one.
Yeah.
So that's a cool one. And for people who haven't seen Insecure, it's a awesome romantic comedy drama. It's incredible. It's on HBO. It makes LA look livable. Okay, that's how good.
LA is
No,
livable.
it is not.
LA's great.
I know. I
You're
am
wrong.
from Southern California, and I know it is a
I lived
shithole.
in LA for 2.5 years. It's great. I go back as much as I can.
It's fine. So I think it's an amazing show. This last one, all right. So Molly, one of the main characters in the show, she's dating Asian bae Alexander Hodge, who's been
Shouts.
on this show. All right.
He's been on the show.
You didn't know that?
You didn't know that? We know him.
We know him. I text him sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Why?
What?
do you say to him?
I just say, hey, I'm watching Insecure. How you doing?
Does he text back?
Yeah, of course.
I sent him a selfie once. He did not reply.
Why did you send him a selfie?
I was like, I like that you made fun of me, and you're like, oh my god, what do you text him?
You know what that was?
Just a picture of your
Okay, wait.
face?
You know what that was?
Why would he want that?
Listen. You know when you have you're with your friends and you text somebody and then they don't text you back, so you want to make sure that he's not texting back your friends either. So you check with your friends, only to find out that they've been texting all of your friends but you, and you're the problem. That's what just happened there. Okay, I've been texting the Asian bae. He never responds to me, and I wanted Mike to be like, yeah, he never hits me back either. I guess he's too famous. Not what happened. Turns out he's just ignoring my selfies.
It's just you.
It's just me, bro. It's just
but
me.
Really, but why are you sending
Why did you-
No, they're not it's not contextless.
just your face.
No. I was at some party and there was a guy who knew him, so I was like, "Oh, let's take a selfie together." And I was like, "Hey, I'm with your friend. This is a cool conversation starter." Nothing.
That didn't work.
Nothing. Nothing.
That doesn't sound like an effective way.
Well, listen, everybody wants a piece of Asian Bae because let's just take a moment of silence for Asian Bae because he's very hot and he didn't.
I was like, is he dead?
No. He's just super hot, but there's a lot of stuff I want to discuss, but I want to begin here with the goofy stuff. A lot of sex in this episode. Do we agree?
Yeah.
A lot of sex.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Yeah.
And Kenice, I know that you love seeing black people hooking up with Asian people. I know that's your thing.
It's not. I just tell you about that one. When I see black people hooking up with Indian guys, I text Rohan. When I see black people hooking up, you get the Asian text messages.
I see what's happening.
We've got a lot of sex in this episode.
Yes.
Okay, let's hit the three big ones. Okay.
Yes.
Fingering on the airplane.
Hey.
Fingering on the airplane.
Hell yeah.
This is why I don't use blankets. Okay. You don't know where these blankets have been.
You're so conservative.
Yeah. Anything you've sat on, somebody's been fingered on. It's not just a blanket. Why are you acting as though
No.
that's
That's a fair point. I will never touch anything ever again. Okay. This coronavirus has taught me everything has been fingered. All right.
Yes.
Good point. All right.
Okay,
That's a good
that's number one. That's number one.
Yes.
Next one is balcony.
Oh, yeah.
The balcony one. Balcony. which I liked because it's like, hey, beautiful view and ass at the same
Yes.
time. You
But
know
it
what I'm saying?
wasn't even Molly's ass. It was Alex's ass.
Yeah, it was.
Which
Good
is the
point.
ass. That's the ass I wanted to see. Okay,
know,
you don't
it's a
see a lot of Asian asses on TV.
You don't.
Right?
Shouts.
You don't.
Shouts.
Representation. It's important.
Representation, and then finally, well, I think there's more, but then the other big one. All right, Molly gets all dressed up in the nice little
Lingerie.
something.
Yep,
all
yep,
right,
yep,
and
yep.
then butt eating. That's
Butt
right.
eating.
Yes.
Asians eat ass. People need to know.
A lot of people know. It's not
Here's the-
completely unknown. Okay.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I like too that we've done the research. I think this is the first interracial Asian guy eating a butt on mainstream
Television.
TV.
That's true. It has been happening on non-mainstream
Non-mainstream
internet.
TV. Shouts to Pornhub and
Yes.
YouJizz.com.
Yep.
But this is the first one. You know, this is on the level of Captain Kirk and Uhura, Star Trek.
It is.
First interracial kiss.
Ooh.
40 years later, interracial butt stuff.
Yep. It's important.
Kenice, what's your take on all the Asian sex representation? Are you a fan?
I'm a fan. I think that's pretty clear. That's why I text you about it. That's why I
Hold on
say,
here.
Fumi, did you see this thing?
Is
I just
that
need you
your
to know about it.
is her okay? So what she does, man, I hope we either gained a lot of followers just now or lost a lot of followers. But anyway, so in the butt eating scene, he's lying down and then she's like reverse.
Yes, that was what's so
on him.
weird about it. She reversed it.
I don't know. Yeah.
What do you mean she reversed it?
So it was like, okay, you know when like this is a man's head, and
Okay.
then this is Molly.
Yes.
Hi. And then in porn, typically it's like this instead of my face, like this.
Yes,
Yes.
but that's that's because you're trying to get something else. You're trying to.
That's when a different thing is on the menu.
Something else. Why can't we
Okay.
say,
Something
guys?
else.
Something else? Okay, like the
Oh, wait,
vagina.
hold on here.
Okay.
Don't blame me as if I didn't know. You're the one who didn't know about the reverse thing. Okay?
Oh, I didn't know that this was an option.
That is an option.
I don't even know. The other way is like that's the other way. If you do it facing forward, then she's got to get into like a squatty potty situation in order to like.
See, and this is why ass eating representation is so important because we don't know what's going on. I don't know what if a girl asked me right now, eat my ass, I would like. I would do it like doggy style, like she's on all fours.
That's
and
another way too,
right?
That's an option?
That's a fine word too.
What's the yoga position? The lazy baby when the ladies right with the leg up,
That does not seem fun.
swaying like this, like a grandfather clock, and I got
Oh,
my
I see.
There's
I got
not
my
a
tongue.
good base there.
My tongue is
Are you
stable.
stabilizing
Okay.
that so that it's not
Fumi-
swaying from side to side?
Fumi, it's clear Fumi has never done this before. Kenice, what are your thoughts? What do you prefer? You know,
So this I've stated this before many times. I am not super into ass eating. I feel like
Fair.
it's a generational thing. Fumi, you're a few years.
Generational thing.
Yeah, you're a few years younger than me, so like I understand that you're very into it. That is great. I am so happy for you.
I get it.
But it is still something that I'm just kind of like, I mean, if you insist, sure, but
Yeah,
like,
sure.
You're like, okay, if you're already down there, I guess you can like venture off, but like,
while
it's
while
not.
you're down there, yeah. If you want to
this
go
is
to on the side quest, you know,
yeah,
that's
yeah. But I appreciate the way that they demonstrated it because it allows for the person who's doing the face sitting to like also do something else. So like if I'm facing the top of his head, then I guess I can like hold on to a headboard and like hope he's doing a good job. But if I'm facing the other direction, then I can like play with him a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
or you could be texting, huh?
Or I could be texting.
Oh, that's true.
Reading a
Texting me.
magazine.
Texting me.
Oh my God, Fumi, it's happening right now.
This Asian guy's eating my ass. Oh my god. I love it.
I love it. So that was dope. You know, little
That's pretty cool.
Black Asian love. I think that's sweet.
I love it.
And it's a good episode too. So in the episode, Asian Bay and Molly, they go on this vacation to Mexico because it is Asian Bay's brother's birthday. His name is Victor in the show. And so it's Victor and his wife, and they all meet up at this like resort in Mexico, and they're having a good time. But it's a good episode because I feel that I've been watching this show and like seeing how they've been dealing with this interracial thing, you know, and as an Asian person, whenever there's an Asian person on a show, you're like, you get a little tense when like, you know, like, oh, they're going to do any kind of Asian-y joke. You know, and they don't do that. They do a very fun. It's very funny. Like they kind of tease her about it, but like it's a good fun tease, and I think it's very realistic too. So, but in this one, I feel the shoe finally drops because Asian Bay's brother Victor, he's a little bit not as I don't want to say not as woke or whatever. Molly experiences a racist episode. You know, something happens to her. She when she's at the pool. And Victor kind of downplays it and is like, well, you know, are you sure that was a racist thing that happened to you? Or maybe you're taking it the wrong way. I'm sort of paraphrasing what happens there. But I feel like, hey, you know, now you're getting this point of view from this Asian dude who I feel like every Asian person knows someone like this, where it's going to be an Asian, usually it's a guy, unfortunately, but it's like an Asian guy who's like, well, you know, you can like either take racism as this thing or you can like take it another way, you know, like when I get something racist happen to me, I don't take it personal or whatever side of philosophy he has. What did you think about, you know, that character, that scene? Let's get into it.
Wait, hold on. Can I just recap it for people who don't know what the fuck we're talking about very quickly? Okay, so the scene is they're in Mexico. Molly wants to get a towel. She gets in line. There's a white couple in front of her, and they get towels. Then she goes up, asks for a towel, and then the person working there, she's Mexican. She's like, oh, actually, I need to see your card to get you a towel. And she's like, I don't have my card, but you didn't check those white people's cards. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm just doing my job. And Molly's like, you just give it to them because they're white and I'm black. And she gets very upset. Victor happens to witness this, comes over, hands the lady his card. They get a towel. They go back
his
in the
hotel
hot tub.
card. Yeah.
Yes, his hotel card. And then to Mike's point, he was saying like, you know, I don't know if that was... Molly's like, that was so racist. And Victor's like, I don't know if that was about race. I think it's a lot of racist, but, you know, not everything's about race. It's the way you react to race is like sort of his logic. So just context for the listeners. Proceed.
Okay. I love that they had that as a voice because that is always, like, every single time I've had to point out racism, there is always someone present to be like, well, I don't know. Have you thought maybe it's you? I don't know. Have you thought maybe this is like you're doing something wrong versus like a complete system that is built around distrusting you as an individual? And it's so frustrating, and I connected so much with that moment, and I understand the impulse to be like, hey, we're all having a good time, let's like try to diffuse tension as much as possible.
Sure.
But really what it's saying is, I don't trust you to understand what's happening to you and what has happened to you in the past. I don't trust you to be able to recognize a pattern of the way that you've been treated before, and I'm gonna essentially tell you to calm down. And that fucking sucks. It's and right now we're going through a lot.
Absolutely.
Like the protests were on my block last night. It's just there's a lot, but it feels like you're being gaslit for years. And right now I'm happy that there's a lot of people on the timeline being like, you guys aren't crazy. I recognize that A, this is going on, B, that I benefit from this system. So that is fantastic. And honestly, I am really happy that voice came from a non-white person. Because we always have that maybe it's not about race, you're making it about race coming from a white person. And it's really important to me that they show that this is like a complicated issue that isn't just like white people and black people, but there are a bunch of other players in the game, and everyone comes with their own preconceived notions, and there's differences within this group. Like, does that...
Yeah, I mean, when my girlfriend and I watched this, our first reaction was like, "Oh, this guy is like Andrew Yang." You know, he's just kind of saying, "It's like, why would you say that?" But also, you know, I guess I understand his logic or whatever. But the bigger problem is like, what he's saying that, you know, there's a problem and you can kind of like wiggle your way out of it, where instead of questioning that there's a problem in the first place, right? That's like instead of questioning the machine, he's questioning. You know, there's like a gun being fired at you, and he's like, "Well, why don't you just dodge it like this?" Instead of questioning, like, well, why are they shooting?
Exactly.
And he fails to see the bigger picture, and like, I don't know if you know this, but like we know a lot of Asian guys are like that, man. Like that's weird.
We get it. Yeah, we get. So that's the thing, and I'm glad that you're right. I'm glad that it was another person of color, and then they have this kind of interesting exchange too, because then Molly's sort of like, well, you guys are only people of color when you guys want to be people of color, and and the Asian Bay is sort of like taken aback by that because I don't think he thinks of himself like that, but
right.
I think there's an interesting dynamic there, and to choose an Asian man and a straight Asian man as sort of like the person who's delivering that kind of hey, maybe it's on you.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people like that just from the internet and from different things. Do you encounter that a lot more? Do you always are you noticing sometimes it's like, oh, it's like Asian people who are like the ones who are telling me to calm down, blah blah blah, like, do you ever see that, or do you ever notice that? Because on our end we do notice that.
Right. I think I'm trying to think back. So like my best friends in middle school were Asian. It was Amy Guo and Veronica Wu.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Shit would happen. Oh, you guys know them? I'm going to assume Asians know each other. You guys know them?
Yep,
okay. In North Carolina, you know them? Okay. Well, they don't live in North Carolina anymore. It doesn't matter. Also, they're nice ladies. Hey, ladies. I'm trying to remember like how they reacted when people did fucked up shit. And I can't remember their reactions at all. I never remember them like being on the bad side. I don't remember them like sticking up for me in a certain way. I hung out with a lot of Asian ladies. Now I hang out with a few Asian men. They're not saying like you need to calm down. It is like the white dudes that I hang out with who are like, mate, you're misinterpreting this, or the one that fucking pisses me off the most when I'm like, hey, your friend's doing kind of something kind of shitty, and they're like, he wouldn't do that based on, yes, what he did was shitty, but he would never do this shitty thing based on race, even though I've never seen him behave this way to anyone who is and it's like this weird math equation where it's like, can you acknowledge for a goddamn second that maybe in the same way that like dudes don't know that some of their male friends are creeps because they're not being creeps to men, maybe you don't see your friend as racist because you're not seeing them around enough black people to know what they're doing. Like, it's just that doesn't answer your question, but I'm
I get it
in a moment.
I'm glad. I wanted to talk a little bit about, we've gotten some, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of protests, there's and there's just so many different things, like one incident after another, and I've been trying to think about this for a while, right? Like, how do the classic thing is like there's like the Asian people and the black people, and like in the American race equation, we're like supposed to be like against each other. Yeah. Right. We have the model minority on one side, and then we have, this another race, and they basically white people pit us against each other constantly. Yes. How do we like just not do that? How do we not? How do we not play that game?
How do we? I don't know.
You can say allyship or whatever you want to call it, right? But like, I know for one that if I know that if, well, actually, I don't know. I want to know more.
Okay.
Help me.
Okay. I will solve racism right now. Just in case everyone wanted to know,
I've got 15
Kenice
minutes.
Mobley will solve it. Okay. No, I do think that it's important. It's really important to be honest with yourself about where you are. So, do I understand the issues at play here? Have I talk to black people? Have I done some of the reading? Do I have a basic understanding of how historically these structures have worked to support some people and to not support other people? So I think that's part of it. What is the role that I as an individual play in this racial hierarchy? Am I recognizing that, I have the ability to do things that some other people may not? And so, I mean this both as like black people and Asian people. So
sure.
Am I allowing my prejudice to cloud my assessment of this situation? I'm approaching a situation. I know nothing about it. Am I allowing my prejudices to sneak in and say, this is what's happening, and then acting based on that, or am I actually getting information about what's happening and acting based on information? So I think that that's a super important part of it. Also, we need to, again, I think I've said this on this podcast before, we need to unite against the whites. I feel like that's very clear. If there is a race war, I mean, where do they keep your food in the grocery store? Is it in an ethnic aisle or is it in the general aisle? If it's in the ethnic aisle, we have to unite. Okay, that's very clear. I don't think
Yo, General Kenice with the strategy.
I never thought about it like
it's crazy.
That's some Safeway level, like Vaughn's grocery store.
Yeah, where's
politics.
your food? Okay, well, I know which side I need to be on. It's just very clear.
That's such a strong point. Fumi, what do you think is going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think, education is really important. Okay, this is the other thing I want to talk about is like sometimes people get scared when they get called out on being prejudiced or something like that, and then they feel like they're being attacked and then they just kind of shrivel up and they're like, I don't want to talk about it again. Yeah. And they ignore it for the rest of their life. And yes. Then in a way, maybe they become more conservative in that way because they had this weird experience. I'll be completely honest. Like, I grew up in Japan, right? We have no black people in Japan. I mean, there are some, but like I didn't see one growing up. And then I moved to America, and I remember in like middle school or something, I remember just thinking like, I had this thought that was like, oh, I guess I'll just like, I don't think I could date a black girl. I don't think that's like, there's too many cultural differences. And I remember thinking like, as the older I got, I was like, well, why did I have that thought? Well, I didn't learn that in Japan, right? Like I learned that in Ohio. Somebody taught me that, or the media or whatever. Yeah. And like, obviously like, I'm not proud of that thought, but it's also okay to be like, oh, that was a mistake and I recognize that. Now let me course adjust. That's okay.
That's important to do.
If you've ever like walked down the street and you got scared because some guy was wearing a hoodie and you crossed the street, like that's okay. Like just recognize that you're doing it and then like course correct. I think people don't understand you can course correct. They just think you have to be perfect or you're a racist forever. And I don't think it has to be like that. And
not at all.
I think that's like, I think that's the dialogue that's sort of missing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm beginning to see that, and I'm really happy that I'm beginning to see that, where people are like, I have not always been a perfect actor. I recognize that I have been part of the problem, that some of the things that I do are probably still part of the problem, but I am working towards being better. And I'm listening when people are telling me that I've done something incorrectly or offensive or whatever. Like, I think that whoa, okay. No, it's...
Dude.
Oh, okay.
Oh. I mean, Mike, I can always take it out in post. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You can just keep your mic on. Every fucking week, somebody's dying on that street, bro.
Dude, Bed-Stuy, baby.
Yeah.
This is what I was thinking about too when I was watching Insecure. Do you think that, because I don't know, Mike, you may not have been in an interracial relationship. Well, I guess your wife is Korean. That's interracial, intercultural, right? Is this a challenge that we will forever face in an interracial relationship in America? Like these little moments, right? For Molly, this really got to her, and she loves Asian Bae, but like, maybe this is the beginning of the end of the relationship. I could see it crumbling depending on how Asian Bae reacts to this, right? Like, obviously we support interracial relationships and stuff like that, but like, would little moments like this keep you from, being with your partner forever because they may not understand these little things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have dated interracially quite a lot, and I will say that is something that is so important to me, that they are able to, like, I can't date someone who's like essentially like this Victor character, and I have dated people and they've shown themselves to be like that, to be like, no, you're just interpreting this wrong, or like, you choose how you react and you being upset is your problem, not their problem, versus like, I too am upset that you are constantly subject to a system that is against you. Like, it's so hard. Like, if a person is not willing to see that, it is impossible to move forward from that.
I think, Fumi, you and Kenice, you're absolutely like hitting on the head. Like, when it comes to a relationship, the race differences is just a it's a very observable difference, but all relationships are essentially about resolving differences.
Yeah.
Because it really is, yes, Gina and I, we don't have any friction when it comes to we're going to eat rice today. Cause that's fine. We're going to have that. But we do have friction about a lot of other stuff where whether it's you spend too much time doing comedy, or, I don't like that you, whatever, you spent all this money on this thing or whatever. And those things, Kenice, you said the whole point is you have to be able to see from someone else's point of view. And anytime you do that, that's going to help make the bridge of I can see why that's a problem. The other day, Gina and I, we got in an argument about when can I do jujitsu again? Right? It's really important to me. It doesn't mean anything to her, but she made the small leap of it's important to him, so I should make it important to me, even though I think it's stupid, which is fair. And that is the leap. That's that's a stupid example, but that little skill is, I think, what can do it. But I mean, it's, it's obviously very difficult, I think, with when you have all this race context in it, I mean, I've never had, but I think that's, Kenice, to your point, what you need to do,
Yeah. I think also there is a difference between understanding and then just saying, okay, that's fine. One thing that I've dated these dudes, I don't know, I feel like there's these dudes who are a little bit, it's not subby. It's just there's these dudes who will just be okay, you're right, sure, and it's you're not hearing me though, and I can't date those guys. Also, dudes who are I did something wrong. Okay, I'm so sorry, but it's you don't understand the meaning behind it. This isn't important to you. You're still going to make the same mistakes. You're just saying sorry to move past this moment.
Strong stuff. I do want to end on one. Well, I don't know. Do we want to end on something funny?
Well, I know that's what I was thinking. I was we had this other thing planned, but it's
good. I like this.
It's good, but this other thing is sad too. But no, say something funny and I'll put it in there.
No, I don't have a funny thing. I wanted to say this one other thing because I know some people have been messaging us and was well, where were black people when Asian people were getting coronavirus? Hate
we were
crimes.
saying that's bad. We don't.
I know.
We're against it.
And here's the thing. Here's the serious thing, and then the funny thing. Here's the serious thing is, first of all, yes, there were a lot of black people, trust me, they know what racism is, okay?
Yeah.
And they were,
who do you
trust
think
me.
fought for hate crime laws?
Yes,
who do you,
exactly.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So, you have to realize that everyone is on the same side.
Yes.
Right? This is the whole point. I'm saying there isn't I didn't see them, tweeting about it, or I didn't see them marching about it. Mm. I think, the more you realize that if you supporting another group is you supporting yourself, that's a really important thing. It's, you got to look beyond your own prejudices, as you said, because maybe you're, sort of projecting onto someone that, hey, I wouldn't put myself out there, so no one else would put themselves out for me.
Right.
Where's your food in the grocery store, man? Okay, where is it? Where are they putting it? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Okay, when you can bring that fish sauce out of aisle 8 and put it where
with regular sauces, if all the sauces are together.
I want to see mayonnaise and fish sauce together in the same aisle.
Why not?
Dude, listen, I'm open again. My relationship is opening again. Phase 1, baby. Phase 1. So it's
hold on here. Yeah.
My dick is phase 1, dude.
Asian comedian open relationship phase 8 at least. Okay, there's no fucking way, bro.
Dude, it's the doctors, construction workers, door to door vacuum salesman, and then me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, we'll get it done though, so that we can all have a hot summer. I think that was a good time.
That was a good time, man. Kenice, thank you so much for joining us and dropping your knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime we could talk about ass eating and racism, like, dude, I'm all about it, dude. I think this was educational, nutritional, as NPR says. This is very nutritional.
I don't like that in the context of eating ass. I really don't.
Well, you never know what's in there.
Kenice, where can our fans find you?
They can find me all over the internet at Kenice Mobley on all the platforms, and my Venmo is Kenice Mobley. So give me money. If you want racial justice, give me money. Okay,
that's very important. That's very important. Okay.
And it's a great transition to plug our show, Hack City Comedy, every week, baby, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just Google Hack City Eventbrite or come to our Instagram page, and it's on our bio link. It's a weekly comedy show that we do over Zoom, and it's a great time.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Come check out Kenice this week. You can also find us on Instagram at Asian Not Asian Pod. I'm also on there at the Fumi Abe, TheFumiAbe.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
Please, 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 if you are a big anal, if you're a big fan, please continue to donate on Patreon. Patreon.com/Asian.Asian-Pod. It's really, really helpful now that we can't do any live shows. It's the only way we can keep this operation going. And Mike and I, we have some cool stuff planned. So please, if you got a little money, it could be as little as $2 a month. It really, really helps. So please check us out again at Patreon.com/Asian.Asian-Pod.
We're gonna be using a lot of that money to get some weights for Fumi. We're going to get him some bumper plates and maybe some dumbbells.
My arms got big. Look at that. Not pretty big.
Fumi, my
Fumi,
God.
I could beat you up.
No.
I just need you to know my arms are like way bigger than your arms.
Here's the thing. Asian muscles are lean. Even Mike, who works out, he's pretty lean. But I know he's strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, Asian guys don't ever look like Hulk Hogan. Like, that, never. They do
look like Asian Bae. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You're right. Asian Bae.
Whoa.
I'm very strong. I think I've communicated that.
You know what? I renounced my coaching position so that Kenice can have it. Clearly you're doing something better.
What the fuck, dude?
Nice one.
The whole time you've known me, I've been very strong. I was a gymnast for
this whole time.
7 years. What are we talking about?
Oh, yeah. See, I remember. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to have you back on set at some point so we can talk about your gymnastics. That's sweet as hell.
Oh, my God. Super into it. Guys, check out Kenice and Kenice's arm on our Instagram at Kenice Mobley. And Anals, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.